And we're going. Hello, and welcome to another episode of That Made Your List, a weekly podcast where an average, ordinary film fan, me, interviews other average, ordinary film fans. My name is Dave Gudger, and joining me in the hot seat this week is Nazario Montengro. Hello, Nazario. Hello, Nazario.
Hello.
Haha, yes, we are there. Sorry about that. So I cut out for a second. I thought we'd lost you. Okay, right. Before we get started going with these questions, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Oh, hello. My name is Nazario Montengro. I am from Central America. I live in Panama City, the mostly well known for the canal where everybody comes to cross from the Atlantic to the Pacific or vice versa.
Oh, yeah, yep.
It's a small country right here in the middle of America, and well, it's really hot here usually. A lot of heat.
Yeah. No,
That's basically what we got here.
That's it.
Yeah.
Canals and heat.
Yes. Also, I'm a big fan of film. I have been going to the movies since I can remember. Even in this little country that started with about 2 theaters when I was a child to now that it's about 100, I guess.
Oh, wow.
Still not that impressive, but it is what it is, huh?
Yeah, no, it's good. It's all good. It's all good. Okay, fantastic. We'll get going with the questions then. You are the first person with a slightly shortened list. There's only 20 questions instead of the usual 20. But we'll get going with one of the most difficult ones on the list there, one that everyone seems to struggle with. What is your favourite film?
This is not a difficult question. This is an impossible question. I must have changed my answer like at least 10 times.
Yep.
But I decided to go with Back to the Future Part 2.
Okay, yeah.
I really love the whole thing. The whole trilogy is amazing. And in my brain, I know that the first one is better. Yet, the second one is the one I have more fun with. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's this thing. I love sci-fi.
Yep.
And I love fantasy. And this whole thing about messing with the timelines is just fun in a bubble. They go to the future, they come back to a weird present, then they have to go to the past, and when they think they have it figured out, then suddenly Doc gets a lightning hit and he goes to the Old West. And the first two movies, the first and the last movies actually, basically stay in one time period.
Yeah.
The time travel is more of an excuse to get to what they want to do. But the second one is all about time travel and its consequences.
Yeah.
And I'm a huge fan of this. I own a replica of the hoverboard, of the almanac. I have a bunch of Back to the Future stuff, and I actually made a call out in Full Metal Trivia, which I thankfully won, only about this trilogy. So, yeah, I have. It's one of my favorite things ever.
That's superb. And say it's obviously a sequel to the 1985 original.
Hello.
Hello. Are we there?
Oh, did I lose you?
No, I've still got you this end. Are you still there?
Yeah, well, yes. I'm back. Sorry about that.
No problem. As I said, it's obviously a sequel to the 85 original, directed again by Robert Zemeckis.
Great director.
Yeah, absolutely. Most of the cast came back, with the exception of Crispin Glover, who played George McFly. He didn't return because they offered him a real small amount of money compared to the rest of the cast. Offered him the least amount of money compared to the rest. So he didn't go, but they used makeup and prosthetics on an actor's face to make it look like him in the film.
That was a big problem actually. He sued them and he actually won a lot of money from that.
Yeah, it's just nearly $750,000. They settled out of court, Universal did. But
it's a fun story because it also is like a thing in the movie industry. Like now movies cannot do that.
Yes.
Take pictures or likeness of actors and use them for other movies without paying them.
No, absolutely.
It was an important thing, even though, of course, it would have been better if he just came back and did the movie.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It's the first ever film appearance by Elijah Wood. He's one of the kids playing video games. Yeah. Here we go. Trivia nuggets flying at you left, right, and centre here. No, it's a good one. I think, as you say, a lot of people will say and agree that the original is probably the better film.
Yeah,
but there's a lot of people that prefer the second to the first. It's just a bit more fun. It's a lot more. They have a lot more fun with the whole concept. The first one is establish the characters, establish the concept, make a good film. The second one, they just go that one step further and add a lot more fun into it. But
Yeah.
no,
And everything seems to be more like jokey, more
yes,
more for the fun of it.
no, absolutely. That's
Yeah,
really good.
I really actually love that film.
Yeah, no, really good start. Really good start. First time we've had any of the Back to the Future films mentioned on here.
Yeah?
Yeah.
That is hard to believe.
No, absolutely. Okay, moving on then. What was the last film you watched?
Well, the last film I watched when I sent you the list, which is the one I'm going to talk about because it's a little bit cheap, but after this one, my dad actually invited me to go to the movies. He doesn't do that very much.
Yep.
Only when he likes movies, and he took me to watch Den of Thieves. But
Oh, yes.
I'm not going to talk about that movie because it's not worth it.
Okay.
Before that, I actually went by myself to watch Game Night.
Oh, right. I've not seen that yet. Is it any good?
Oh man, it is. It is surprisingly fun. It is these days. I don't know what is it. Everybody tries to make comedies, but comedy is really hard and really subjective too.
Yes.
Some people might find something hilarious, and other people won't get it.
No, absolutely.
I have that issue a lot because I don't really like the spoof genre that they are making these days, and to get an honest to God good comedy is really hard, and most of the time they just make sequels and ruin it after it.
Yeah.
But watching this movie, I had the same film I had, the same feels I had when I watched Horrible Bosses or the first Hangover movie.
Yes.
It's one of those things that catch you kind of off guard,
Mhm.
and it just keeps surprising you and throwing things at the screen that you really don't expect.
Yeah.
And somehow they actually work. And the sad thing about it is that I cannot tell you anything about it because most of it is the gags and would ruin the joke.
Yes.
You kind of have to watch it for yourself.
Okay.
The premise is really simple, but it takes turns that people don't think won't expect. It's pretty fun.
Okay. It's directed by two directors. The two directors that did which makes me surprise me when they say this one's quite good. They did the not very good Lampoon remake of Vacation. John Francis
I never
Daley
saw
and
that.
yeah, no, not a lot of people did apparently. The reviews came out and it stank out the cinemas apparently. But yeah, John Francis Daley and Jonathan Goldstein directed it. This is their second feature film together.
John Francis Daley is the kid from Fritz and Geeks, right?
Yes. Yes, I believe so. Yes.
I actually think they recently got a DC movie or something like that.
Oh wow. Okay, that's news to me.
I think I heard that.
No, brilliant. Obviously, Jason Bateman and Rachel McAdams are the two big name stars in there, but it's got a good supporting cast as well, by all accounts, hasn't it?
Yeah, actually, and the supporting cast is what actually makes the movie. Jason Bateman is always good,
Yeah.
and Rachel McAdams is so sweet and pressure. I don't know why she doesn't make more movies, but the thing is, I forgot his name, but they have this neighbor who's a cop, who's the kid from Breaking Bad, and he was in Fargo too. Such a weird looking guy.
No,
He's just creepy and amazing in this movie.
All right.
Every time he's on screen, it's like it pulls you like a black hole. Your attention just goes to that guy.
Oh wow. Ah, cool. Good. Oh, I'm glad that's good because I'd heard good things about it, but never actually spoke to anyone that's actually been to see it. Yeah,
I would recommend it honestly. It's one of the best comedies in the last couple of years.
Oh, brilliant. Brilliant. I'm say it's one of those ones. Jason Bateman was actually due to direct this himself. I read the other day when it got your list. I did a little bit of looking into a couple of them. But yeah, Bateman was due to direct it himself, but the script went for rewrites, and then it got given to Daley and Goldstein to direct it themselves. So it was nearly a Bateman film as well, which could have been interesting with him. Okay, brilliant.
But yeah. Has he directed anything before?
I'm not sure. Let me just have a quick scan through. He's got 11 credits to his name. He did a couple of 6 episodes of Ozark, the Netflix Netflix series.
I've watched that.
Yeah, most of them are all TV shows that he's done. He's done episodes of the TV shows, so he's obviously getting his cutting his teeth, getting ready to jump into the feature films. with it. So we'll see. We'll keep an eye out for that one.
He'll get you soon. He'll get this to you.
He'll get there soon, absolutely. Okay then. What's your favourite action or adventure film?
Okay, I know. I imagine a lot of people give you things like Indiana Jones for this, but I don't know. Maybe it's the way it catch me off guard, but I have to go with Jurassic Park.
Yeah,
I was about 12 years old when this came out, and on my way to school, they had this big sign from Panasonic. I don't know if they were using Panasonic cameras or what, but it had the logo, and it was all like Jurassic Park, Jurassic Park. I had no idea what it was, except that it was a bone of a dinosaur, of a T-Rex, under the Panasonic thing. And I got so excited just thinking about the possibilities. And then my dad, since I was so excited every time we passed the damn sign, that he bought a premiere ticket. It was like $30, and it was like a gala night or something, and he took me.
Oh, wow.
And I had not even seen the trailer. I had no idea what that movie was about.
Yeah.
And then it was just all came over me on the screen, and I saw the dinosaurs, and to this day I defend those are the best dino effects. Not even the Jurassic World movies have that good dino effects.
No, they are really, really good effects.
Is Spielberg at the top of his game with the family adventure films? It was a little dark for kids too, because back in the day when I was a kid, there were not this many issues with the PGs and the PG-13s and the swears and the violence. And dude, a guy gets eaten sitting on a toilet in this movie.
Yeah, absolutely.
I fell in love with it. I bought the score. Never bought a score before. I bought the video game, which turned out to be very crappy.
Yeah.
And I really it got burned in my memory. And no other Jurassic Park movie, sadly, of the 3 sequels that they have made, has reached that point of excitement for me. No. I always keep going, hoping for the best, but it's not the same.
Yeah, no, it's unfortunate, but say the one to come closest to it, so it was Jurassic World, but even that fell short of the incredibly high bar the original set. Based on the book by Michael Crichton.
Yes.
I've actually read the book, and it's a really good read as well. Universal.
People tell me it's very different from the movie.
Yes. Oh yeah. Universal paid Crichton $2 million before the book was even published, so they could make the film of it. That's how much they read the book, and they obviously had the vision for it. It's Spielberg at the time when they first got the rights to it. Spielberg was getting ready to make very early pre-production on a film version of the ER TV series before that came out.
Really?
Yeah. He was because he produced the first series anyway. After he'd done Jurassic Park, he went back to ER and helped produce the first series of the TV series. But he was getting ready to do a film version of it. He was in pre-production of it. Heard about the Jurassic Park, dropped everything, and went straight into that. It's
I didn't know that. That sounds very interesting.
No,
I don't think they ever made an ER movie after all.
Yeah, I mean it's. I've mentioned before in a couple of episodes. He ended up obviously because it was editing this while he was filming Schindler's List, which is just an incredible double bill of a year. But he ended up hating the T-Rex character because he was trying to. The strain of filming the emotional draining film like Schindler's List, and then trying to get the CG effects and the dinosaur effects right, he ended up hating the dinosaur by all accounts when he finished in each day, because it was just an absolute polar opposites of a massive swing on himself.
That sounds like he could be very confusing, and I know the Schindler's List was a very passion project for him.
Yes,
I think he made it thinking about his mom. I think he dedicated the Oscar and everything to her.
Yes, no, absolutely.
But it is actually an amazing double bill of film to watch into the next year. Yes. 1 year next to the other.
Yeah.
But yet they are so different that it's kind of weird to think it's the same guy.
Yeah, no, the cast.
But his whole filmography is like that. He makes these awesome family films, and he makes all these awesome dramas too.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, He did it. He did pretty much the same again in '97 when he directed Jurassic Park: Lost World and Amistad in the same year as well.
Oh yeah.
So again, it's another one.
Private Ryan.
Yes, yes. So the cast in this is just it's you couldn't recast anyone. Family's going crazy upstairs. Right. Yeah, you couldn't. I don't think you could recast anyone from this and make it any better.
Of course, I mean you have to keep Goldblum there. He has that Goldblum magic.
No, he's never been as magnetic as he has been as Dr. Ian Malcolm there. He just, yeah. Every scene he's on, he is the centre of that scene. It's him. You're focusing on him. Absolutely.
You know they're doing a Funko Pop of him laying down from the Jurassic Park film. that sexy pose.
Yeah.
Sideways. I saw that and I lost my shit, man. It was hilarious.
Yeah.
A lot of people are gonna buy that freaking pop.
Absolutely.
Sam Neill is awesome too, and Laura Dern is great. I don't think Laura Dern never gets the credit she deserves. She's a very good actress.
Yes, she is a very good actress in everything she's in. Same again, Sam Neill. Sam Neill, obviously the lead actor, as it wasn't it, not what you'd call a typical hero actor. It obviously plays Alan Grant. Yes.
The heroic paleontologist who eats kids.
Yes. Yeah, but he's perfectly cast as him. You believe that he could be someone that spends his days on his knees digging in dirt looking for dinosaur bones.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh God, I can't believe I forgot his name. The owner of the park.
Richard Attenborough.
Yes. Sorry.
No problem. Richard Attenborough. He's
so great. He's like this huggable Santa Claus, giddy about his new big shiny toy, and just wants everybody to love it.
Yeah, a scientific Walt Disney, I think, is the best way of probably describing him.
Yes, exactly. Like, that has a famous quote in it, like, Pirates of the Caribbean used to break all the time when Disneyland started. But the pirates wouldn't need you.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Brilliant. Okay, fantastic. Great film. Moving on then. Let's go completely opposite. What's your favourite horror?
This was also a very difficult category for me because I'm a kid from the 80s and a teen from the 90s, so I mostly was into the monster movies and the slashers.
Yep.
Jason and Freddy are a couple of my favorites, but I know those movies are not good. So if we're talking quality, the one that resonated the most with me from the recent years, it's gotta be Let Me In.
Okay.
And I know what people are gonna think. You better make it Let the Right One In because it's the original or it's a foreign movie. Yeah, fine. I really like that one too. But for some reason, I think the remake, Let Me In with Chloe Moretz, it has had something that hooked me deeper than the original movie. Maybe it was her. She has this presence as the main character, which it's a vampire. I don't think that's a surprise, or hopefully not a spoiler this many years later.
No.
But it's this sad little story about a kid who has no friends and then becomes close with the girl next door who just turns out to be centuries-old vampire who gets taken care of by this old man who obviously is a parallel for the kid. Yes. Because if you think about it, and they kind of hint at this through the movie, the guy probably fell in love with him when he was a kid, and he just lived his life with her and dedicated to her. And now that he's older, she just feels like she needs somebody new.
Yes.
And this kid is going to be his replacement. This kid is going to be the new caretaker. And knowingly, he takes this role because he feels that close to her. And yes, it's not traditional horror because it's not a jump out of your seat kind of movie.
Yeah.
It has horror elements in it. It has a couple of very intense horror scenes, but overall, it's the genre it's in, and it's a weird, horrific love story that I just love.
Yeah, no. I remember seeing the trailer of it and thinking, yeah, it looks good. read a little bit about it, heard it was a remake from a foreign language one. Directed by Matt Reeves, who did the Dawn and War for the Planet of the Apes films, as well as Cloverfield. So he's got a good pedigree coming into it. He also did the 1996 David Schwimmer film The Pallbearer, so he's not done everything 100% right. But
I didn't know that, but
yeah.
I did so.
It sounds like good. As I say, it's not one that I've seen. So there we go. There's the first one from your lot that's going on my list of films to watch. So that's a good one, because I did remember seeing the trailer and thinking I like the look of it, but I've not actually got around to doing it. Okay, fantastic.
I think that the thing in the remake is that they actually made it a little more relatable.
Yeah.
It's not. I don't mind actually. A lot of people like movies dubbed to their language. My original language is Spanish, but I hate dubbing honestly because I understand English. Mm-hmm. And even the movies that are not made in English, I rather see them in their original language with subtitles, because that doesn't break it for me. Actually, the dubbing breaks it more for me.
Yeah, I'm the same. I'm the same. I mean, I
understand some people who don't like to read subtitles.
Yeah, I mean, I have a problem with English sometimes, but it's your English is far better than my Spanish ever will be. But I'm the same. When it comes to foreign languages, I have no problem reading the subtitles. I'd rather do that and get the actor in the timing of the original actors than a dubbing where if you know it's dubbing, it will always be in your mind that's not that actor saying that line. You don't get the same. You don't get the same nuance in voice.
We have a little issue with that because all the dubbing for Latin America is always done in Mexico, and they have this little group of people. It's like 20 or 30 people.
Yeah.
So every time you go to a movie and the movie's dubbed, you are gonna hear Homer Simpson somewhere in there.
Yeah.
The guy who plays Homer in the Spanish version is so popular with the dubbing thing. You will always hear Homer somewhere in that movie, and it just takes me out.
Yeah, I can imagine that's going to be something to take you out of that film.
Also, Matt Reeves is supposed to direct a new Batman movie, so
yes. It depends. It'd be interesting to see who would actually get to be the Batman on that. Because I've heard a few I've heard that Jake Gyllenhaal was up for it at one stage. Carl Urban was the latest name I heard attached to it. So he should be.
Definitely won't be Affleck though.
No, I can't see it being Affleck. He did all right in it, but I don't think his heart was in it that much. When Batman vs Superman got savaged, I think he just fell out of love with wanting to do it.
Exactly. I don't know. It kind of broke him, and it's sad because he actually was not a bad Batman.
No,
but you could tell already by Justice League that he was just not into it anymore.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Okay, fantastic. Moving on then. What's your favourite drama?
Okay, this is one of my favorite directors.
Okay.
Paul Thomas Anderson.
Yep.
As far as I'm concerned, has not made a bad movie yet. And I know some people may call a few of him very weird or maybe not up their alley, but he's just an original in a time where we don't really get originals.
Yep. And
of all the movies he has made, I think the one who resonates the most with me is Magnolia.
Yeah.
And it's just all characters, all acting. If you ask me what the story of this film is, I don't think I could tell you. A lot of things happen.
Yeah.
A lot of things happen by coincidence. They give you an intro in the movie, like when some things happen weird that look like coincidence happens, that they have to be something more than coincidence. But it's just this thing with many characters, from Tom Cruise's incredible performance as the vocationally misogynistic guy to Philip Seymour Hoffman as the nurse who attends his parents. It's just a bunch of people. William H. Macy is amazing in it.
Yeah. And Julianne Moore's in it.
Julianne Moore is in it, and they all have these little pieces that along the running time of the movie they start to match together, and it all clashes in a big scene, which hopefully, again, not a spoiler after all these years.
Yeah.
It actually rains frogs.
Yeah.
And in the context of everything that's gone before in this film, it just makes perfect sense.
No, absolutely.
They give you a hint in the intro. They just tell you, like, it cannot be a coincidence. These things don't just happen.
Yes.
Well, I guess it just happened to rain frogs.
Yeah, no, it's all throughout the movie. There's over, I think it's over 100 times in the movie. There's a Bible quote. Exodus 8:2 is the Bible quote that's through and through and through the through the, and the actual quote is, "And though refuse to let them go, behold, I will smite all thy borders with frogs." So there's a reason why it comes down, but this Bible quote is quoted through and through and through the film and referenced in different ways. No, absolutely, it's brilliant. Obviously, Jason Robards' character in it. Obviously, he's there, is suffering from having lung cancer, and it's again a weird coincidence in it. Robards died a year after the film was released of lung cancer.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's really, really sad. I mean, he's a really good classic American actor in some really, really good films. But
other thing that I love is the music choices on it. They have two songs by Amy Mann, one called "Wise Up" and the one everybody remembers that is "One." One is "The Loneliest Number."
Mm-hmm.
They have this scene in the middle of the movie where basically all the characters are singing "Wise Up" at the same time, wherever they are. Like the song just came to all of them at the same time.
Yeah.
It's I don't know what I know. It's not the standard drama, with a definite story, a beginning, a middle, and an end. But sometimes those movies like that have the magic that grabs me. Not always.
Yeah.
But sometimes, and when they stay with me like this, it just makes me pay more attention. And everything, like I said, that was the first Paul Thomas Anderson film that I watched.
Yeah.
So that made me go back to Boogie Nights and Hard Eight, which are both great.
Hard Eight I really, really like.
Yeah, and most people haven't seen that, actually.
Yeah, Hard Eight I really, really like. It caught me, I think, just at the right time, and I was just looking for other types of film to watch.
I remember when Boogie Nights came out, not knowing it was the same director or anything.
Yeah.
I tried to sneak in. I was 17, and the woman wasn't taking my my lies.
Oh no!
And she was like, "Dude, you're a child. You cannot go into this film." I was like, "Come on!" I think I went to like 3 theaters, and once I went dressed with like a shirt and a tie and everything.
Yeah.
Like that was gonna make them believe I was an adult. Just couldn't get in. So I had to wait and watch it years later.
Yeah, no, it's a film I have watched. I think I've probably only seen it the once, Magnolia, and it was a fair few years ago now. But it was one that a different kind of role for Tom Cruise. It's not his popcorn happy, here's my big beaming smile Tom Cruise. It's a little bit different for him.
Don't give him enough credit sometimes. Tom Cruise may be crazy. He may believe a lot of funny stuff about religion and stuff in real life.
Yeah.
But he takes chances with his career. He could have just easily become Bruce Willis and made the Patient movies and move on. But every couple of years, he surprises you with a little thing that it's out of left field, and it's really he's a really good actor. I actually give him a lot of credit.
No, absolutely. I mean, the part in the film where is it his father that died or dying?
Yeah.
Yes. And more than half of that whole sort of monologue scene area is ad-libbed by Cruise, and he's there. And I remember reading an interview from Philip Seymour Hoffman. He turned around and says that his character's tears at the end of that were absolutely 100% genuine, because he had no idea where Cruise was going with it all, and had just caught up in the whole emotion that he'd brought out of everyone in the room with it. So yeah, when he's got the right material, you're right, he's an absolutely fantastic actor. He's just he just seems to get pegged into being Ethan Hunt clinging onto the back of a plane, going, he needs to stop doing
Yeah.
that. He broke his ankle in the last one, didn't he?
And people offer you that the $1 million, you're gonna
Well,
take
yeah,
it.
you're going to take it.
It's something else in his spare time.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Okay, fantastic. Moving on, lighten the mood a little bit. What's your favourite comedy?
Okay, my favorite comedy, it's, even though I love Back to the Future and that may be considered a comedy, I have to go with Ghostbusters. Because
I take it the original 84 one, not the
yes,
recent remake.
Yes, 1984, please. Don't
thank you.
I want to give a couple of mentions to things that are important to me in my life. This thing is a huge one.
Yep.
It's close up there to be one of my favorite movies, but it's one of those things. This movie came out when I was 3, so of course I didn't watch it when I was in theaters. The first one I actually watched was Ghostbusters 2, and that one, it grabbed my heart, and I love that movie. I don't care how many people say it's crap. It's beautiful because
I don't think it's crap as much. It just doesn't stand up to the original. I think that's the only problem there.
That's fair, but that movie opened my eyes to the Ghostbusters thing. I went back, catch the cartoon, and eventually got the original in a VHS copy.
Yep.
I watched it.
Oh, okay. I should be put on hold. And we're back.
Are you there?
Yep, I'm here.
My phone got a call,
no
sorry.
problem. No problem.
And I got the original on VHS, and I watched that, and I was like, oh, that's where the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man comes from and everything. And then as I kept growing older, I started getting more and more of the jokes and more of the Bill Murray humor.
Yes,
which is
a lot of his was all ad-libbed. There was very little actual script that was followed.
I guess that's what I'm enjoying more from these movies, because there's a tendency that this is the kind of the films I like. People ad-lib a lot.
Yeah, no, absolutely, absolutely.
Everything in that movie is quotable.
Yeah,
that's a big Twinkie. This man has no dick.
Yes.
I mean, it's just
absolutely
amazing. Get a Ray. I actually bought my baby
together.
Yeah, I bought my baby a jumpsuit that has the logo. Just said, "Keep calm and go get a Ray."
Yes.
So, yeah, it's a fantastic film. I honestly thought that they could expand more on it than they did, but we got the second one, which is, to me, it's really good, but not as great. We got a great cartoon out of it, and then it just went dormant because I guess mostly Bill Murray just didn't want to keep doing that.
Yeah,
so
I think it was, to be honest. The original premise and the whole when they first, obviously it was written by Dan Aykroyd and Harold Ramis, whichever. It was written by those pair with a little bit of help from Rick Moranis at the time. But the original premise of it was going to be Dan Aykroyd, John Belushi, and Eddie Murphy. Those three fighting ghosts with wands instead of proton packs, and at the end of it was due to be Ghostbuster franchises all over the States at the end of the film. Obviously then John Belushi died, so that one had to be redone. Eddie Murphy turned it down, so that
they cut down a lot the role of Winston in that first movie because of it.
Yeah, I mean, Winston was due to be the one that got slimed in the hotel in the original writing of it before it all got chopped around. Yeah, but his role then, when Eddie Murphy said no, his role got slimmed all the way down, and it obviously didn't come in until halfway through. I absolutely adore this film. It's a film that I will, whenever it's on, I will watch it. It's
one of those you cannot change the channel after you get them.
Yeah, once it's
on,
it
doesn't matter where it is, what part of the movie it is. You have to keep going.
Yes,
it's happy. It's what I think maybe people have referred to as happy accidents. The things were crashing down and burning down, but the end result is just this amazingly funny, amazingly memorable thing that probably wouldn't be as much if you had done it the way you intended.
No, absolutely. So it's nominated for 2 Oscars. It was nominated for Best Visual Effects and Original Song. I mean, that Ray Parker Jr. song is absolutely. It's one that I remember buying and playing till I broke needle after needle on the record player on the 7-inch vinyl records. It's something that kids don't understand nowadays. The having to replace a needle on a vinyl record player. Anyway, no, absolutely fantastic film. Unfortunately, tarnished a little bit by the absolutely appalling remake that was the one with Kirsten Wiig and Melissa McCarthy and everything else from a couple of years back.
I actually think that it would have been better if they tried not to tie so many things up to the original, because they said from the beginning it's going to be a different thing. It's not a sequel. Think about it as an Earth 2 kind of thing, another reality. I would have been better with that, but then they started pulling the cameos and the Firehouse and Slimer, and I don't know. It may not be the worst thing ever, but it feels like the worst thing ever. Maybe because I love the original so much.
Yes.
And I laughed here and there, but it was such a forgettable thing. Even the director Paul Feig has made better comedies before, and with Melissa McCarthy. Spy is better. What is the Hot something? Is that with the one with Sandra Bullock?
Hot Fuzz, not Hot Fuzz.
No, not Hot Fuzz.
No, not Hot Fuzz.
Something like that. They're top Sandra Bullock and Melissa McCarthy, and those are really
the Heat. It was the Heat.
The Heat is the thing. Yes, but yes, I don't know. It's just even him feels like he was restrained by Sony or something, pulling back punches on the jokes and stuff. Yeah, and that's what I mean.
Yeah,
this is a movie they intended to make. Yeah. Ghostbusters in 1984 was kind of what they ended up with, and sometimes those are way better.
Yeah, it almost sort of fell in between the cracks of two things. You either make it as a completely new film, or you make it as a sequel of sorts, or sort of in the same universe. They say they have Slimer in there. They have the Firehouse, so they're obviously going for ties in, but then the cameos from Bill Murray, Dan Aykroyd, Sigourney Weaver are completely different characters. So you're not. Either.
And Sigourney Weaver is in the end credits, since she's not even in the movie.
Yeah. No, absolutely.
Also, Bill Murray got his wish. He said he would only come back to Ghostbusters to die. So at least he.
Yeah, and then they throw him out a window. Oh, okay, fantastic. On the same kind of theme then, what's the film that makes you happy?
Well, on the kind of things that I want to round out my list, I want to give things to a lot of things that make me happy. Bill Murray makes me happy.
Yep.
He's a guy that he has a lot of issues. He has a lot of weird, real little things, but everything he does, he's just so great in it. Not counting Garfield, but a new director too that actually makes a lot of stuff that just makes me happy is Wes Anderson. Yep. Because I think he's another original guy in the world we live now, where everything has to be a franchise or sequels or based on existing things, and not everything is that great. But he keeps making this amazing stuff, and I kind of cheated a little bit here, and I put 2 movies. I put The Life Aquatic with Steve Zissou and Fantastic Mr. Fox.
Yeah.
Because honestly, I cannot believe those 2 things exist, and those 2 things are made by the same guy and have the same people in them.
Yeah.
One is just this weird ass movie about an wannabe explorer who wants to find this magical tiger shark that he saw once and nobody believes in, and he just makes this expedition at the cost of everything just to get it. In this little bubble of a movie that is like a magical fable, it doesn't feel real. It feels like sometimes someone is making a story and telling you about it. Yeah. When you're a kid, you start imagining the things. It feels like that. And Fantastic Mr. Fox, which in a world where we got Boss Baby nominated for an Oscar for Best Animated Picture, man.
Yeah.
Fantastic Mr. Fox was a gem.
No, absolutely.
I know it's a book, but he made it his own, and the animation and the little quirks of the characters. It was so Wes Anderson.
Yes.
It makes me look so much forward to Isle of Dogs. Have you seen the trailer?
I've
Isle
seen
of
the
Dogs?
trailer for it. Yeah, it looks really good. It does look really good. I'm looking forward to that. It's
I hope he never changes.
as
That's all
I
I'm saying.
didn't.
I hope he never changes.
Yeah,
People complain when directors keep an a style and aesthetic, and they keep doing things that are similar to each other. But and in this case, I hope Wes never changes.
yeah. No, it's. I've not seen The Life Aquatic. At least I don't think I have. I remember it as I can remember Bill Murray being the oceanographer in there, but I don't remember watching the film. If that makes any sense, I may have just seen the trailer or something like that. Fantastic Mr. Fox, though. I absolutely love that film as well. It, it's the stop motion animation, obviously based on the Roald Dahl book. It's Clooney there, just oozing. He's the perfect guy to have the voice for the fox.
I think if you can say two perfect roles for Clooney are Danny Ocean and Fantastic Mr. Fox.
Without a shot, yes. Definitely not Bruce Wayne and Batman. No.
Definitely not Bruce Wayne, please.
As you say, Fantastic Mr. Fox was nominated for the best Oscar. You can't really argue about the one that won that year, though, which was Up, where it's just damn near perfect in animation.
A fantastic year in animation, yeah.
Yes, it was a fantastic year for animation for it. There's not enough actual stop motion films now because it's completely different. I think, what is it? Kubo was stop motion as well, wasn't it?
That's from Leica. Leica is the one keeping the trend alive right now.
Yeah.
And they Paranorman and Coraline and the Box Trolls, I think.
Yes, Box Trolls. My boys like that, but I never actually got around to watching Box Trolls.
Yeah, for some reason that's the one I haven't seen from Leica. I love Coraline. It's one of my favorite animated films. And Paranorman I also enjoy a lot. Who I recently watched, and it also shocked me how good it is. And they mix CGI with stop animation too now to make it more complete. But I really like the style. I hope it doesn't go away like 2D animation has gone.
Yeah. Okay. Fantastic. Okay, let's flip this on its head then. Name a film that makes you sad.
Okay, I thought about this a lot. I am very... I open my feelings a lot when I watch movies, when I watch film. I go to the movies and I don't mind crying in front of people. So that's something my dad didn't teach me right. He was really insistent that men shouldn't cry, but whatever.
Yeah.
I'm open to the experiences, and there are a lot of movies that have made me cry over time and made me sad, but I think the one that sticks with me is $1 Million Baby. And mostly it was just because it's not what I was thinking about the movie was going to be. I thought this was going to be about this down on the luck Clint Eastwood coach guy who had a career and lost it and lost his family and lost everything and finds this little girl that she had a rough life. She came from nothing and she had so much raw talent and he was the one who's going to get her, like Rocky, train her and eventually make her into a champion. I think that's what the movie was going to be, and I was fine with that. And Morgan Freeman just for amazing work. And suddenly, out of nowhere, because I had not seen anything about the movie, and I just went to watch it with my dad, expecting it to be a female Rocky.
Yes.
Then, but again, spoilers.
No. For a 15-year-old, 14-year-old film, I think we can let the slider rule.
Well, she gets cheated on in a fight, and she falls down, and she breaks her neck with the stool.
Yep.
And the movie just turns hard left, and it becomes this thing about this woman that just doesn't want to live anymore, and keeps doing everything in her power, which is not that much because she's paralyzed, to sell that to Clint Eastwood, who just needs to understand that he has to let go.
Yes.
She has to lose another person who is family to him, because it is not about what he wants, it's about what she wants, and she cannot live like this. And it just broke my heart.
Absolutely.
Just thinking about it, it's overwhelming to me.
Yeah, no, it is. It is a film that starts you off thinking it's going to be just if you know nothing about it. You look at it as you're going through. You think this is a female Rocky. I know where this is going to go, and gets to the fight. She's going to either narrowly lose but be covered with courage, or win and be the champ. But yeah, it takes you right. It keeps going, takes you right off the cliff with it. There's no coming back from it all. Obviously,
and it's not even like the last 10 minutes. It's a good chunk of the movie.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
And it's like, this is where we're going. If just keep on the right with us, we're gonna end this the way we feel that it's the right way, and it really breaks my heart.
No, absolutely. Obviously, directed by Clint Eastwood. Now, this is the first film I can actually remember of him directing, but he's been directing since the 70s. He's done absolutely a wide-ranging films. It's like Eiger Sanction, Outlaw Josie Wales, Firefox, Heartbreak Ridge. This was the first one that gave me the Oscar for a director, though. The film won 4 Oscars in total: Best Picture, Best Director. Hilary Swank got Best Actress in a Leading Role, and Morgan Freeman picked up Best Actor in a Supporting Role.
Coincidentally, Hilary Swank was in my second choice for this, which was Boys Don't Cry.
Oh yes, yeah, no, absolutely. Trivia nugget.
I guess she makes me cry. She makes me sad.
Yeah, no, absolutely. This was the first Best Picture winner to be released on both HD, DVD, and Blu-ray.
Oh yeah?
Yep. The first Best Picture winner to be released on HD, DVD, and Blu-ray. So
that's
another useless bit of information to store and throw out when needed. Okay, fantastic. Okay, let's move on then. Let's lift ourselves up a little bit. Name a film that you practically know the entire script of.
There's a couple, but after thinking about it, I think I went with something that, mostly because it's a musical and I know every song of it, I think I kind of know the whole thing.
Yeah.
Which is Burton's The Nightmare Before Christmas.
Okay.
It's one of my favorite animated films. Again, stop motion animation before the CGI was there to help. This is true stop animation filmmaking.
Yeah.
It's not even directed by Tim Burton. It's based on a book by him. It's actually directed by Henry Selick, which is a great director of stop animation in his own right.
Yes.
And I love this film. Disney actually owned this film, and they didn't want it to tarnish its brand, so they released it under Touchstone Pictures, which they own at the time. I don't know if they... But it's such a memorable story about this skeleton king who just got bored about doing Halloween every year and wanted to do something different, and then did his best interpretation of Christmas when he found out that existed.
Yeah.
And of course, horrifying.
Yeah.
But it all turns out to be okay in the end, so that's nice. And the music is very memorable. Danny Elfman, which collaborated with Tim Burton in most of his movies, they had a kind of a falling out at some point. They only did not do a couple, but mostly it's always them together.
Yeah.
Actually sings the voice of Jack, the singing voice in this movie, and it's filled with quotable lines and memorable songs like this Halloween Town, what's this, at Christmas, let's take him to Oogie Boogie.
Yeah.
The Sad Sally song. It's an amazing film. I already showed it to my kid. My kid is about to be 2 years old, and some people think it's scary, but no, you have to learn to love your monsters, like Guillermo del Toro says.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Oh, yeah, fantastic film. Okay, so moving on then. I've got a feeling this one might tie in a little bit with that. Who's your favourite director?
I know he's not as great as he used to be. I can deal with that. And I also can say that I love many directors. Like I said before, Wes Anderson and Paul Thomas Anderson. I'll watch anything made by them. I could add Aronofsky to that list, and Spike Jonze.
Yep.
There's so many people who make good stuff. But since I was a child, it's always been about Tim Burton for me.
Oh,
His gothic, he has this motif about the gothic and the weird that started since even with Pee-wee's Big Adventure, which is his first film.
Yeah.
You could tell that he liked to do things a little off the cuff, a little different.
Yeah.
And some of my favorite childhood memories are from Beetlejuice and Batman and Edward Scissorhands, which I don't know. I don't think people talk about that movie as much anymore, but it's kind of forgotten. But it's so beautifully made. And Sleepy Hollow, it was, I think, the first one I actually got to see in the theater from him, and I really loved that movie.
Oh yeah.
Johnny Depp used to care too. I know he doesn't that much anymore.
Yeah.
He took care when he was with Tim Burton, and he made one of my favorite movies of all time too, which is Ed Wood, about the life of one of the worst directors,
yes.
quote unquote. He's just has a big repertoire of things. I even like his Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. I know that's kind of a no, but I still kind of like it, mostly because Deep Roy is amazing as every single Oompa Loompa.
Yeah.
And I like Danny Elfman's song.
No.
But the last movie I remember, I really can say that he did, and it was great. I don't care what anybody says. Was The Demon Barber of Fleet Street.
Okay.
You know?
Yeah.
Sweeney Todd is another movie that I like. Every song is based on a musical.
Yeah.
I think it's Sondheim. But I think he really poured his heart and his feelings into that one.
Yeah.
Like I said, not that much anymore. He's also one that's been trying to keep the animation with stop animation alive with Frankenweenie and the Corpse Bride, which are actually pretty good.
Yes.
Overall, I have to keep my nostalgia heart in hand and say Tim Burton is my favorite director.
Absolutely, it's. I mean, his first film he did was back in 1985. It's Pee-wee's Big Adventure. Pee-wee Herman's Big Adventure was his first, but obviously he hit the big time in '88 with Beetlejuice, and then Batman the year later in '89. He's had, let's say, a long and varied career, but he always seems to be erring to the, for want of a better word, erring to the side of weird. He's always off the cuff. He's always that way out there with his way of doing it. I mean, I really enjoyed Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children. I actually enjoyed that. Yeah, it's not the best. I mean, I have a slight crush on Eva Green anyway, so it didn't really do me any harm watching that there. But no, he's a good director. He's got his own.
I understand why people don't like it, but I kind of enjoy it.
Yeah.
The only movie I own basically every Blu-ray of every Tim Burton movie he has made, even Dark Shadows. I know that's not great, but I like it.
Yeah.
But for some reason, the one I cannot get myself to get is Alice in Wonderland.
Yeah.
Something just... And I love Alice in Wonderland. I love the Disney version. And I thought it was kind of a match made in heaven for me, one of my favorite stories with a favorite director. And it just does not work.
No.
It kind of breaks, so I can't get myself to get that.
No. Okay. So, what's your favourite film from your childhood?
Okay, keeping with the Tim Burton theme, and you mentioned Batman, I have to say that this is a couple of movies because, they kind of mash in my head together. I honestly, when I was a kid, thought it was the same year, but then I realized it was 89 and 90.
Yep.
Among all the things that you love as a child, people who know me and have watched my reaction videos know I have a lot of turtles. I love Ninja Turtles.
Yep.
Things people may not know as much about me is that I love Batman too. For some reason, I just haven't been as open about it. But those are two things that you come to my house and you will see Turtles and Batman on everywhere, every wall, every furniture has something about either one of those. So the fact that they made a Tim Burton Batman movie in '89 and they made a Teenage Mutant live-action Ninja Turtle with a realistic take and a grittier take on the turtle than anyone was expecting. Yes. Like I said, they used to make movies for children who had a little more leeway with the swearing and the intensity than they do now. And those two are just things that are in my memory. I love that Turtle franchise. The second one, I know it's so-so, and I know the third is crap, but I like it. And the Tim Burton Batman, to me, until the Nolan trilogy came, I think it was the definitive version for me.
No,
I do think it made a better trilogy than the two movies that Tim Burton made. But come on, man.
No,
who doesn't?
Without a shadow of a doubt. The '89 Batman almost reinvented comic book movies after Superman 5: A Quest for Peace, which almost killed any idea of anyone ever watching another comic book movie again. I
mean, who doesn't remember being I was in a teenager. I was like a pre-teenager. I was like 11 or something.
Yep.
And then Catwoman showed up licking her suit.
Yes.
I mean, come on, dude.
Yeah, man. Yeah, it's the second one of the Batman Returns. That's another one that doesn't get the love that a lot of them do. It kind of gets overlooked because you think Batman 89, and then a lot of people go, "Oh yeah, but the sequels were shot." Bat Nipples, George Clooney with the Bat card and all that. But
as a fan, I can tell you that Tim Burton had a lot more creative control in the sequel.
Yes,
probably that's what doomed him as the director of that franchise. But oh well, he had to make a very good one in 1989, and a lovable weird one on 92.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Okay, fantastic. So, almost on the same kind of flip as this, what's your favourite animated film?
Okay, I know a lot of people don't like this either. I feel like I'm saying that a lot. But I would have to say, when I think animation, there's a lot of people who make good animation, but Disney is still king. And I was in the middle of my childhood, teenage years when the Renaissance came, so I have those near to my heart too. And one that I think that gets looked off or dismissed a lot is The Hunchback of Notre Dame.
Okay.
And honestly, it's one of my favorite films of all time. That film, you can look at history. People think like Disney's spoiled putting crazy stuff on it, and they did put crazy stuff on it. But most of the things that they took were from previous adaptations. Even the gargoyles, even the goat.
Yeah.
But what stays with me is that I feel like this is the first time in a while, at least, that they took a villain that was human, that was evil, and was flawed, but very, very adult.
Yes.
Basically, Judge Claude Frollo wants to bang Esmeralda.
Yep.
And either he will get that, or he will burn down Paris trying.
Yes.
And it's the lust, and you can hear it in the song of Hellfire that he sings in the middle of the film, which is a complete contrast to Quasimodo's song about out there and hopefulness. And he loves her too, but he understands that love sometimes means letting have to go of the things you love, which is why I am fine in the end when she doesn't end up with Quasimodo. That would have been dumb, honestly. But he loves her, and he's her friend enough to understand that she needs to be free.
Yeah.
And in the other hand, you have this cruel man who is posing as righteous when he's just selfish and evil, and is willing to kill and destroy everything unless he gets what he wants.
Yeah.
And the hymen scream and the gargoyles making stupid jokes, and you look like a croissant and stuff like that to Quasimodo diminishes it. I think it was a mistake that they put it in, but I think overall the movie comes on the plus side, and to me it's one of the memorable movies from that period.
No, fantastic. It's definitely one of the darkest ones that Disney have done in that style of animation. I mean, it almost ended up, from what I remember of it all, it almost ended up with a PG, almost being the only Disney animated one that's got PG. But they reined it back just enough to keep it as the U. No, really, I can't fault you. I mean, there's not. I mean, I can't name one of the non-sequel Disneys that have put a foot wrong. So you can't really go too far wrong with an animated Disney film there. Fantastic. Okay, moving on. Something that always seems to get varied answers from varied films and genres and everything else. What's your favourite quote from any film?
In this one, actually, I was thinking about a famous quote, but then I decided to go with something different. And another thing in the 90s that it started getting a boom was the weird art independent films.
Yep.
That not always made a lot of sense, and sometimes were just mesmerizing. And One person in the center of this was Harmony Korine. He wrote the movie Kids for Larry Clark, which is a very good movie if you haven't seen it, with Chloe Sevigny and Rosario Dawson. And then he started directing by himself, and it's fully an art thing. He directed a few movies that you cannot. It's not something you go to watch. It's something you have to be in the mood to get.
Yep.
And one of these ones was Gomo from '97.
Okay.
And I rented this movie thinking it was something completely different, and then I watched it and I was mesmerized by it. Again, like Magnolia, it's not something I can concisely say what it's about. There's a tornado, there's a small town, things happen, but it's just art, weird stuff.
Yep.
And all of it works somehow. I started renting that movie so much after that they actually offered to sell it to me at the video store.
Yeah.
Which I actually bought for $5. But there was this line. I think it's even in the trailer from the movie. There's a lot of crazy kids with a mute kid who dresses like a bunny.
Yep.
And the weird looking guy. But it's this line. Life is great. Without it, you'd be dead.
Very true.
So simple, kind of stupid, but it's something the main character says at some point in the movie, and it always stuck with me because it is it's purity, it's truth, it's simplicity in itself. People complain life is hard, life is tough, but without it, you'd be dead.
Yep.
So, in the end, appreciate that you're alive, dude.
No, absolutely fantastic. Okay then, we're getting to one now that's been moved together from two separate ones previously. So now you've got to choose your favourite actor or actress. Oh, he's gone again. We'll be back. We're back. Here we go.
Sorry.
No problem. So yep, this was used to be two questions, but we're putting them together now. So who's your favourite actor or actress?
Okay. I looked around a lot. A lot of people have been great at some time and disappointed me in others. So I decided to go with a relatively young guy.
Mm-hmm.
I chose Ryan Gosling.
Okay.
Mostly because he is one of those great character actors who's young enough to still make a difference in what remains of my adult watching life, movie watch life. And Ryan Gosling started with this movie, The Notebook, that it was just kind of a dismissible love story that ended up being more memorable than it had any right to be.
Yep.
And then he started doing movies that matter, and he has done such amazing work in such a short period of time. One of my favorite movies is Drive.
Yes.
He barely speaks. He's all new nuance and character. He was in La La Land, which was for a second there the movie of the year, and then it wasn't. He has made so many impactful careers. He did Blue Valentine with Michelle Williams, which is my choice for best actress from that same period and that same kind of newer generation.
Yep.
And just last year, he made the Shane Black comedy, Nice Guys,
Nice
which was
Guys
amazing.
with Russell Crowe.
Yeah, with Russell Crowe. That was completely different kind of role and completely amazing. And just last year, he was in Blade Runner 2049.
I've still not seen that.
Oh, you should. You definitely should.
Yeah.
You definitely should watch that one. It's an amazing film. But yeah, I see a lot of potential, and I think he will in the end of when his career is over, he will be remembered.
No, absolutely. He's young enough now. Although he has got a catalogue of work that is standing up as it is. He is one that you think will go one step further, will keep going and going. Former Mickey Mouse Clubhouse cast member.
Incredibly, yeah.
He's done quite well from there. I can't fault it. Done really, really well. Fantastic. Okay then, now we get to a couple of controversial ones, possibly. What's your most overrated film?
I wrote Avatar and then I deleted it because I figure a lot of people tell you Avatar is overrated, which it is.
It is. But yes.
Yeah. But then I started thinking back and looking at some of the renowned, recognized movies from the last couple of years, and I remember this movie, Extremely Loud and Incredibly Close. This movie is really bad.
Yeah, I mean, I saw it on there. I know absolutely nothing of this. I've not heard of it. I've not seen it. I don't think I've even seen a trailer or anything of it. So,
Really?
yeah.
The movie was nominated for a Best Picture Oscar.
Oh my God! I don't know what's happened there then. Yeah, that's. There you go. It's falling through a loop somewhere then for me.
It is a movie that it's intended to be heartwarming. It's the story of this kid who is I don't know if it's Asperger's or autism. What he's very close-minded, not very social, and his father, who's Tom Hanks, has tried to always make games for him, like puzzle games, like everything is a game in life, so he can get from point A to point B. And then his dad dies in 9/11 because it was one of those films.
Right.
So the kid lives with his mom, which is Sandra Bullock, and he makes up in his mind that his dad, in his death, left him clues to figure out some mystery. It's intended to be heartwarming. It is not.
Okay.
It is cheap. It is manufactured, feeling thingy that it is what it was. It got what it wanted. It was recognized for the Oscars as an Oscar bait movie.
Yeah.
But I sat and watched this thing, and for a couple of years I felt guilty for hating it because I was like, come on, it has all these elements, and it's a story of a kid who's sick and his dad, and this real life catastrophic event, which is honestly very, very sad point in history for everybody who is our age and lived it. But this movie, no, just no.
Okay. I can't argue with you. I've never seen it. As I say, it's just one of those ones that can't be that good. As I say, it's flipped my mind completely. Here we go. Here's a challenge then to those anyone listening. Then,
If you ever watch,
get involved. Get involved.
Message me what you feel.
Get involved. If you think Nazario's wrong, please let us know. Let's find out. Okay then. The other side of that then. What's your most underrated film?
Okay, here I cheated a little bit because I think there are a lot of underrated films. I think there's a lot of films that in the long time become cult films and get some recognition, but somebody who has become kind of a joke on himself is Nicolas Cage. Yes. Everybody knows that he does things for money, that he usually takes the paycheck because he didn't know how to control his life and he owes money everywhere. But there's this very small window. He has done great roles, and I'm pretty sure he will do again some great roles. But there is this small window between 2002 and 2005 where he was perfect. None of these films actually made any money.
Okay.
None of these films actually became what they were supposed to be, I guess, commercially. But it's 4 movies. It's adaptation from Jack Jones, Matchstick Men, is Lord of War, and The Weatherman from Gore Verbinski. Matchstick Men, I think, is Ridley Scott.
Yep.
And these 4 roles are just Nick Cage at his best, at his most dedicated, and all of them memorable for completely different reasons.
Yeah.
And today, most people won't even know which movies I'm talking about.
No, it is. Yeah, I mean, 1990s Nick Cage was a law unto himself with some absolutely fantastic action films, followed by some incredible sort of indie type films. You've got the likes of The Rock, Con Air, Face Off, alongside City of Angels and Leaving Las Vegas. But
Leaving Las Vegas, I see.
Yeah, absolutely. But then once you get into, as I say, the 2002-2005 range, he's done Sunny, Adaptation, Wind Talkers, Matchstick Men, National Treasures, which I really enjoy. As a modern day Indiana Jones rip-off type film, National Treasure I really like. Yeah. Then Lord of War and Weatherman. Lord of War I watched. I think there's probably the only that and Adaptation. I think are the only 2 from those that I've watched. But yeah, they're really, really good. Okay, no, I can't argue with you. I was waiting when I saw Nicolas Cage. I was waiting for one of the later ones, something like Next or Knowing, that I thought you were going to try and tell me it was
Yeah,
underrated, but maybe not.
no. But if you haven't watched Matchstick Man on the Weatherman, I suggest you watch Matchstick Man first.
Okay.
You're gonna appreciate it.
Okay. There we go. Fantastic. No problem. Okay then. Here we go. Name a film that you like that no one would expect you to.
You know, sometimes you're ashamed of things you like,
Yes.
and sometimes you cannot even explain why you like some things I like. This film, I do not know what it is. I kind of hate myself for liking this movie. What I do, it just like Ghostbusters. If I happen to catch it on TV, I just won't change the channel, and I do not understand why. It's Tom Green's Freddy Got Fingered.
Ooh, my lord. Okay. Now
There's
this is the
scene.
part. This is the part where
There's
I need to have a klaxon. I need to have a button that can ring a klaxon and go wah wah wah. Yeah.
There is a scene in this movie where Tom Green is masturbating an elephant that comes on his father like he's a fire hose. And I just have to tell myself, like, yes, you chose to watch this.
Mm.
You chose to keep watching this film. I cannot explain why. It's not a good movie. It's a horribly misguided, unfunny mess of a thing. But it's like a car crash that I just can't stop watching. And I will. I actually, I think I have seen this movie over 10 times.
Oh my good god. Oh dear.
Yeah.
No. Written, directed and starring Tom Green, who sort of got the idea and the okay from it from the Tom Green show, his TV show that was there. It won a very impressive 5 Razzie
In this
Awards.
thing.
What's that, sorry?
Poor Rip Torn is in this.
Yeah. Oh good god, yeah. Yeah. It won at the Razzies.
Of
Worst
course.
picture, worst actor for Tom Green, worst screen couple for Tom Green and any other animal that he abuses, worst director for Tom Green, worst screenplay for Tom Green, and was also nominated in 2010 for the worst picture of the decade.
Yeah.
I'm sorry,
Not
but
cannot any of
here's where the
those.
title comes in. This is my list. Oh my god. This is
All I can say is, Daddy, would you like some sausage? Daddy, would you like some sausages?
oh god. Alright, okay, I'm going to move on quickly because I'm not giving this film any more oxygen.
Yeah.
Right, what's your favourite classic?
Okay. Classics. I'm not very good at this. I have to get more. I need to watch more older movies. I know, and it's a weak point for me when we do trivia. But one of the classic directors that I really like is Alfred Hitchcock, and I have tried to watch most of his movies.
Yep.
And even though most people would like probably say North by Northwest or Psycho or Vertigo are better, I really like Rear Window. I think one of his collaborations is one of the best. He has made 4 movies. Oh my god, his name just escaped my mind right now. But he has made 4 movies with him, and this is the one where the main character breaks his leg and has to live in his bedroom.
Yep.
And because it used to be the 40s, there's not all the things that we have now, so people can be everywhere with the wheelchairs.
Yeah.
And he has to pass the time somehow before TV was even invented. So he just watches people from his neighborhood, from the next building, through binoculars. And one night, he sees something that he thinks is a crime. And you keep the whole movie not knowing if what he watched is real. Maybe there's a perfectly good explanation where the things that are happening.
Yeah.
Or if it's actually a murder, you know? And it's interesting. It keeps you on the edge of your seat. There's a couple of scenes where you feel helpless, like he feels helpless, you're the audience. You're watching things develop from afar. And it's a very memorable movie that has stayed with me from one decade that actually had a bunch of good movies.
Yeah.
I picked up it over Citizen Kane. I actually enjoy more watching Rear Window than watching Citizen Kane.
Yeah, no, it's you can't go too far wrong with Hitchcocks, with the classic Hitchcocks, almost to a film.
James Stewart. Oh my God.
Yes,
James Stewart. I forgot.
Yeah, it's a really good film. I mean, with this one, the actual the set of the rear of the courtyard and everything like that was actually built. It was actually built as a set. It took months and months of preparation and designing to get the forced perspective of being 3 or 4 stories up by having the courtyard lower in the ground than anything else. So not as if they're built up, they just went down to get the courtyard lower than the rest of the apartment buildings. Some serious amount of work went into it. Any of the Hitchcocks.
Oh, it's a classic in every extent of the term.
Yeah, no, absolutely, and the same with a lot of Hitchcock's work. I mean, I don't think anyone could ever argue one Hitchcock is their favourite and be wrong. I don't think anyone could ever turn
Grace Kelly is actually the main lead, female lead in this game. She's also very good.
Yes, she is. Fantastic.
Beautiful one.
Absolutely. Okay then, drawing towards a close. Name the film with the best soundtrack.
I love musicals too, and I think by definition, most musicals who are memorable have an excellent soundtrack. I actually was trying to go a little on the other way. I was gonna go with Cameron Crowe originally. He has such a good ear for his films with Vanilla Sky and Almost Famous, which is great. But I think Jeremy already picked that, so I didn't want to do that.
Yeah.
So I decided to go with a musical, which is a little more obvious choice. But I picked one that spoke to me more than the more popular ones have, and that is Hedwig and the Angry Inch.
Okay.
This film is a very personal story of a German kid that grew up on the wrong side of the wall when the Berlin Wall still stood, and he was gay, he was free, he wanted to be something, and he just couldn't do it in that reality, and he escaped through his music. And the whole musical, if you hear song by song, is basically the story of Hedwig's life, from this little German gay boy from the wrong side of the wall to when he got to America and he loved, he lost, he was happy, he had his heart broken, and in the end, he turned out to be what he was always meant to be. Right. Every single song in this soundtrack is amazing. It has Midnight Radio, it has the Origin of Love, it has The Angry Inch, it has Wig in a Box. I really, really like every single song on this. It is one of those that I just buy the soundtrack and play it beginning to end and don't skip a single song.
No, fantastic. I mean, I don't know where I've heard of it. I've heard the title from before. I've not seen it. You could play me 3 songs in a row and tell me which one was from the soundtrack. It would be a pure guess if I got it right. I've not heard of it before.
It's a rock soundtrack actually, and it's really good.
Oh, superb, fantastic. Okay then.
The director actually is John Cameron Mitchell, who plays Hedwig. Has not made that many films. I think the most well-known one is Rabbit Hole that he made with Nicole Kidman. Sorry.
Oh right. Okay.
And he's a very good director. I wish he makes more films.
Yeah.
Than he has. I think he has 3 or 4 only, but Hedwig is still his shining moment for me.
Okay. No, fantastic. Brilliant. Okay then. We've come to the end. The very last question. What's your favourite film franchise?
I was kind of like trying to reach with the franchise thing, because franchise can be so many things. It can be universes, can be trilogies, can be stuff.
Yep.
But again, things tend to stick more with you when you're younger. I could have said Back to the Future. I could have said Indiana Jones, but I think those already are well spoken for.
Mm-hmm.
When I was a teenager, and I saw for the first time Clerks. I think I was like 17. The movie came out earlier, but that's when we finally got it here. I live in a small country. Most of the things I watch, I got from video stores when it still existed.
Yep.
And I fell in love with it. Because it was such a slice of life, obviously an exaggerated slice of life movie, but
Yes.
uh, it just showed the kind of humor that you enjoy when you're that age and you get crappy jobs and you do those kind of things that nobody really likes, but you need a little extra money because your parents just say that you cannot just go to school and come home because you're old enough to do something else.
Yes.
Uh, and then he could have just done that movie and do something different, but he decided to keep that world alive. He made Mallrats, which is the lesser of that kind of universe. I think he calls it the View Ask universe. But
The Askew
Askew
universe. Yes.
Mallrats has his faults, but it's a very good movie in my eyes. Chasing Amy, it's my favorite. I love that film. I think Ben Affleck is in one of his better earlier roles as an actor.
Yep.
Dogma, is also another one that I love because I was raised Catholic. I may not be as devout as I probably should be or once was,
Yep.
but I really love these movies that take religious belief from my faith and then twist it because they know the loopholes and they look for the little things in between.
Yep.
And then he put it all together with Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back because it was just these guys that just happened to be in every single movie since they took all took place in the same place, and he just decided to celebrate it by doing a big movie dedicated to them, the way they hadn't done before in the universe. Clerks 2 was also from that universe. That one came a little later, but
Yes.
overall, that from that age when I was a teenager, I identify a lot with the slacker thing, and Kevin Smith was always somebody who spoke to me.
No, I mean, Clerks, the first one, the one that kicked it all off, is probably his most popular. Kevin Smith's most popular one. Mallrats, as you say, is a prequel to it. It's set a day before Clerks has happened, so you could watch them sort of in order. It would make a little bit more sense. Chasing Amy, as you say, is a great film. Dogma for me is one that stands out. I absolutely love that. It's the way that they get just the snappy dialogue. It's the dialogue that all. Chris Rock as Rufus just absolutely killed it in every scene he's in.
The 13th Apostle.
Yes, yeah. Alanis Morissette as God at the end there, coming in, spoiler alert, a female God. He's just like, well, yeah, of course, why wouldn't it be? Yeah. Salma Hayek looking incredible as Serendipity. That film I love. It's one that I own and I go back to time and time again to watch.
And again, I like how he was able to mostly work it out. There's a few exceptions, but he could mostly work out that everybody from those films came back just to do Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back, which is just a random comedy that just happens to be in the same place where all these people are.
Yeah.
And it's hilarious.
No.
George Carlin did a couple of cameos in this universe too, and he was always amazing too. He was the Cardinal in Dogma, right?
Yes.
The one who introduced the Jesus with the thumbs up.
Yes, he is. Yes, George Carlin. Yes. No. A fantastic set of films. And yeah, absolutely. It's a franchise, as you say. It's got a series of characters that go all the way through. I don't see any reason why not. Fantastic. Okay. And we are done. Thank you once again to this week's guest, Nazario. Just to remind you, we're on iTunes and Podbean, so please download the episodes, follow the Podbean feed, subscribe via iTunes, rate, review us. It really does help, so I can get enough people subscribing on iTunes so I can actually see who's listening to it on iTunes, which you've got to get a stupid amount of numbers to be able to get that. Nazario, have you got anything you'd like to plug, any YouTube or Facebook pages or anything like that?
I'm not as creative as they probably should be, but right now I am doing a lot of trivia on the internet, mostly with Full Metal Trivia Challenges on the Full Metal Media page on Facebook.
Okay.
You can usually find me there. I also do reactions to the Schmodown in the Movie Reaction League, MTS Schmodown League in Facebook too. I'm trying to get in another couple of leagues. probably in April, I would do a couple of matches in Jack of All Trivia. You can find them also on YouTube and Facebook. And also, I'm trying to find a way to inch in on There Will Be Trivia in the Movie Games Network.
Yep.
So, basically that.
Okay.
You can see me around movies, talking movies, answering questions about movies, with this passion thing that we share.
No, fantastic. Okay. If you people out there listening fancy being in the hot seat yourself, I didn't look over an hour, yeah, and I managed not to trip over my words. 2 minutes from the end every time. 2 minutes from the end, I trip over them. If you fancy being in the hot seat yourself, then you can email the pod on thatmadeyourlist@outlook.com. We are on Twitter with @thatmadeyour. We also have our own Facebook page, That Made Your List, where you can find all the old episodes, as well as the pinned post of the questions asked. So please get involved, comment on the posts, tell me if I've been harsh in my review of a film. Please don't be rude. I've been Dave Goodger, they've been Nazario Montengro, and this has been That Made Your List.